2 weeks ago, a Nigerian content creator said something in a video that landed him in Kirikiri Correctional Center. Yesterday, the same content creator walked free, and within 24 hours, he had changed his Instagram profile picture to a photo of the president's son and captioned it with one word: Daddy. I want you to sit with that whiplash for a second, because it tells you almost everything you need to know about power in Nigeria right now. Here is what actually happened. On July 9, 2026, Ademola Abiodun, known to millions of Nigerians as DJ Chicken, was arrested in Ikeja. His lawyer said the DSS was involved. The arrest followed a viral video in which DJ Chicken, speaking in Yoruba, said that if President TINUBU won re-election in 2027, he would kill Seyi TINUBU, the president's own son. He was charged on 3 counts: violating the Cybercrimes Act, breach of the peace, and making threats to kill. He was remanded at Kirikiri. His sister posted an emotional video calling herself and her brother orphans and begging Nigerians to help secure his release. He spent close to 2 weeks behind bars. Then on Tuesday, July 21, 2026, he walked free after meeting his bail conditions. And in his very first public statement, before he even reached his family, he thanked God, thanked the Nigerian government, thanked Seyi TINUBU by name, and thanked the president. Then, the next day, he posted that photo: Daddy. So today, we're asking the question that goes far beyond one content creator's Instagram caption. What does it actually cost in Nigeria to publicly criticize the son of a sitting president? And what does DJ Chicken's transformation from threat to worship in the space of 2 weeks tell us about how power actually works in this country? Stay with me. If you are new to the Policy Pulse HQ, this channel gives you Nigerian political analysis that connects the dots other channels rush past. Subscribe now and stay with me, because this story is about far more than one man's Instagram caption. Every step, from the video to the prison to the daddy post. Let us walk through exactly what happened in order, because the sequence itself is the story. The origin point is a video DJ Chicken posted to his social media platforms discussing the upcoming 2027 presidential election. In that video, speaking in Yoruba, he said, and this is the translated version reported by Punch, quote, "Tinubu, you cannot win the election. If you win, I will kill Seyi Tinubu. I will not say more than that," end quote. The clip spread rapidly across Nigerian social media. On July 9, 2026, his lawyer, Rotimi Stephen Eke, posted a video alleging that DJ Chicken had been arrested in Ikeja and taken to the Ikeja police headquarters. Stephen said he believed officers from the Department of State Services were involved, though at the time of that initial report, neither the Nigeria Police Force nor the DSS had officially confirmed the arrest or its reason. On July 14, 2026, 5 days after the arrest, DJ Chicken's sister posted an emotional video describing herself and her brother as orphans and appealing directly to fellow content creator Tunde Pere and DJ Chicken's wider fan base to intervene on his behalf. That video drew significant public attention and mixed reactions online. DJ Chicken was formally arraigned before a magistrate's court sitting in the Ogba area of Lagos State on a 3-count charge. Count 1, violations of the Cybercrimes Act. Count 2, conduct likely to cause a breach of the peace. Count 3, making threats to kill. He was remanded at Kirikiri Correctional Center following that arraignment. On Tuesday, July 21, 2026, DJ Chicken was released after meeting his bail conditions. Human rights activist and 2023 presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore confirmed the release publicly on X, saying DJ Chicken had reunited with his family, friends, and loved ones, and adding, quote, "No one should suffer oppression while the rest of us watch in silence, especially at the hands of powerful and corrupt forces," end quote. In his own video announcing his freedom, sitting beside his lawyer, DJ Chicken said, quote, "I'm back, oh, freedom at last. God bless the Nigerian government. God bless Seyi TINUBU and our president. I love you guys. It is not easy, my fans. People that are free don't know what God has done for them. Freedom is good," End quote. Then, less than 24 hours later, on Wednesday, July 22nd, he shared a photo of Seyi TINUBU on his Instagram stories with the caption, quote, DDD, end quote, changed his profile picture to a photo of Seyi TINUBU and posted additional videos of Seyi TINUBU dancing at events and with his wife. That is where we stand as of this recording. Why DJ Chicken says he made the threat and whether that explanation holds up. Before we go further, we need to examine something important that Vanguard reported directly. After widespread criticism over the original video, DJ Chicken withdrew his remarks and offered an explanation. He said the threat against Seyi TINUBU was intended as a joke, made specifically to gain attention and increase his online popularity. Let us take that explanation seriously and examine it honestly rather than simply dismissing it or accepting it at face value. Content creation as an industry genuinely rewards provocation. Nigerian TikTok and social media culture has produced numerous examples of creators making deliberately shocking, controversial, or outrageous statements, specifically because outrage drives engagement, views, and ultimately income. It is entirely plausible that DJ Chicken's original comment was, in his own mind, exactly that kind of engagement bait, rather than a genuine, considered threat against anyone's life. Why the joke explanation does not fully resolve the legal and political questions this case raises. Nigerian law, like the law in most countries, generally does not require prosecutors to prove that a person genuinely intended to carry out a stated threat in order to charge them with making one. A statement that a reasonable listener would interpret as a genuine threat can be prosecuted as one, regardless of the speaker's private intent, precisely because threats create fear and disruption in the people who hear them, whether or not the speaker meant them literally. That legal principle exists to protect people, including public figures and their families, from having to guess whether an alarming statement is serious or satire. So, the honest, fair reading of this situation is this. DJ Chicken's explanation that it was a joke for popularity is plausible and consistent with known patterns in Nigerian content creator culture. It is also true that a statement threatening to kill someone, however it was intended, is the kind of statement that any government, including a genuinely democratic one, has a legitimate interest in investigating. The question this video is actually interested in is not whether DJ Chicken should have faced any consequences at all. It is whether the specific consequences he faced, nearly 2 weeks in Kirikiri Correctional Center for what he describes as an attention-seeking joke, were proportionate, and what that proportionality tells us about how the Nigerian state treats criticism, even reckless criticism of the presidential family specifically. For context on proportionality, it is worth noting that Kirikiri Correctional Center is one of Nigeria's most notorious detention facilities, historically associated with severe overcrowding and difficult conditions. Being remanded there, even briefly, represents a serious deprivation of liberty. Whether that specific consequence matched the specific offense, an admittedly reckless but explicitly retracted and apologized for statement, is a judgment call that reasonable Nigerians can disagree on. What is not really in dispute is that the case moved with real speed and real institutional weight once it involved Seyi TINUBU specifically. Reading the Daddy post the way Nigerian political culture actually reads it. Now, let us talk about the moment that has actually generated the most public reaction, the Instagram post itself. Because I believe most surface-level commentary on this story is missing what is actually happening in it. On the surface, DJ Chicken calling Seyi TINUBU daddy, adopting his photo as a profile picture, and posting celebratory content about him looks like simple gratitude. A man who spent almost 2 weeks in prison is released, and in the emotional relief of that moment, he thanks the people he believes are responsible for his freedom. That is a completely human, understandable response, and it deserves to be read charitably as exactly that, at least in part. But there is a second, more uncomfortable layer to this moment that Nigerian political culture understands instinctively, even when it is not always stated directly. DJ Chicken was not arrested by Seyi TINUBU personally. He was arrested by state security apparatus, prosecuted through the Nigerian legal system, and released after meeting bail conditions set by a magistrate's court. Seyi TINUBU, as far as any public reporting shows, did not personally decide to arrest DJ Chicken and did not personally decide to release him. So here is the analytically interesting question. Why did DJ Chicken's very first public statement of gratitude specifically name Seyi TINUBU ahead of thanking his lawyer, his family, or even simply the Nigerian legal system in general? The most plausible answer is not that Seyi personally intervened in the case. It is that DJ Chicken, like millions of Nigerians who have watched cases like this unfold before, understands something about how power and perception function in Nigerian public life. Publicly, visibly, enthusiastically praising the person whose family members' alleged offense against you led to your imprisonment is a widely understood signal in Nigerian political culture. It signals submission. It signals that the conflict is genuinely over. And it signals to anyone watching who might be considering similar criticism in the future that the safest path after crossing this particular line is public, effusive loyalty, not quiet relief. This pattern is not unique to DJ Chicken, and it is not unique to Nigeria. Political scientists who study authoritarian and semi-authoritarian systems around the world have long documented what is sometimes called the performance of loyalty, where individuals who have experienced state pressure publicly demonstrate exaggerated support for the very power structures that pressured them, partly out of genuine relief and partly as a form of ongoing self-protection. The louder and more public the display, the more effectively it signals that the person poses no further threat. Whether DJ Chicken consciously calculated this, or whether it is simply an instinctive survival response shaped by watching how Nigerian public life actually works, the effect is the same either way. A man who 18 days earlier had said, in a moment he now describes as reckless attention-seeking, that he would kill the president's son, is now the same man whose face is a photo of that same son on his own Instagram profile. That transformation, and how quickly and completely it happened, is the real story here, more than the original threat or the arrest itself. Drop a comment right now and tell me honestly, do you think DJ Chicken's daddy post is genuine gratitude, or is it a calculated survival move? I want your honest read before we get to what this case reveals about criticizing power in Nigeria more broadly. The precedent this case sets beyond DJ Chicken as an individual. Let us step back from DJ Chicken as an individual and ask what this entire episode signals to every other Nigerian content creator, comedian, and social media personality watching it unfold. Because that signal is arguably more important than the specific facts of this one case. Nigeria has a growing, genuinely influential class of social media content creators, TikTokers, comedians, and commentators whose reach into ordinary Nigerian households now rivals and in many cases exceeds that of traditional media. We have discussed on this channel before how this reach translates into real political relevance, from Brother Shaggy's political commentary to Cubana chief priest's political ambitions. That same reach is precisely what makes how the state responds to content creators who cross certain lines a matter of genuine public interest, not just entertainment gossip. The specific line DJ Chicken crossed, an explicit statement about killing a specific named individual, is one that almost any legal system in the world would treat seriously, and reasonable people can support the principle that such statements warrant investigation regardless of who the target is. That much is not really in dispute. The comparison that deserves honest scrutiny, and that this video is not in a position to fully resolve, but that is genuinely worth naming. Nigeria's political discourse includes a wide range of harsh, aggressive, and sometimes threatening language directed at various public figures across the political spectrum, much of which does not result in DSS involvement, arraignment, and remand at Kirikiri within days. Whether the specific speed and severity of the response in DJ Chicken's case reflects a standard, consistently applied approach to genuine threats against any public figure, or reflects something specific about the involvement of the presidential family, is a question that would require a comprehensive review of how Nigerian security agencies handle comparable cases involving other public figures, something that has not, to our knowledge, been conducted or published. Without that comparative data, we cannot definitively conclude that DJ Chicken was treated differently because his target was the president's son specifically, rather than because the specific nature of his statement, an explicit death threat, genuinely warranted the response it received. But the question is a legitimate one, and it is exactly the kind of question that a functioning democratic society needs institutions and channels like this one willing to keep asking. What we can say with more confidence is this: the speed of the entire process, from viral video to arrest, to arraignment, to remand, to the specific charges brought, tells us that comments about the presidential family are treated with genuine institutional seriousness in Nigeria in 2026. And the speed and enthusiasm of DJ Chicken's public reconciliation afterward tells us that Nigerian public figures who experience that institutional seriousness firsthand understand exactly what is expected of them once released. Both of those facts, taken together, describe something real and important about the current relationship between Nigerian citizens, including its most followed content creators and the family of the sitting president. Being fair to the other side of this story, let us present the strongest reasonable case that this entire episode was handled appropriately, because analytical honesty requires engaging with that case directly rather than only presenting the more critical reading. The case goes like this. DJ Chicken made an explicit, unambiguous public statement threatening to kill a specific named individual. That statement was not vague political criticism, not policy disagreement, not even harsh personal insult. It was a direct threat of violence against a real person. Any government, anywhere in the world, has both the right and arguably the responsibility to investigate statements of that nature, regardless of who makes them or who the target is. The fact that the target happened to be the son of a sitting president does not diminish the legitimacy of investigating a genuine threat. It may reasonably heighten the security concern, given that threats against politically connected families carry their own particular risks. Under this reading, DJ Chicken's arrest, arraignment, and remand were a proportionate response to a genuinely serious statement, not evidence of political persecution or selective enforcement. His release on standard bail conditions following the normal course of Nigerian criminal procedure further supports the case that this was the legal system functioning as it is designed to, rather than an extra-legal exercise of power. And his subsequent gratitude towards Seyi TINUBU and the government could simply reflect genuine relief and a genuine recognition that he made a serious mistake, rather than any calculated survival performance. Holding both readings simultaneously. Here is why I believe the honest position is to hold both of these as simultaneously plausible, rather than forcing a single conclusion the available facts cannot fully support. It is entirely possible that DJ Chicken's arrest and prosecution were a legitimate, proportionate response to a genuine, actionable threat, exactly as Nigerian criminal law would require, regardless of who the target was. It is also entirely possible that the speed, visibility, and apparent institutional priority given to this specific case reflects the particular political sensitivity of anything touching the presidential family, in ways that similar statements about other public figures might not receive. Both of those things can be true at the same time, and distinguishing definitively between them without access to comparative data on how Nigerian authorities handle similar threats against other prominent citizens is genuinely beyond what current public evidence allows us to conclude with certainty. Signals worth following from here. Here is what is worth watching as this case and the broader pattern it represents continue to develop. The first signal is whether DJ Chicken's underlying criminal case, the 3-count charge under the Cybercrimes Act, breach of the peace, and threats to kill, proceeds to full prosecution now that he has been released on bail, or whether it is quietly discontinued following his public reconciliation with the TINUBU family. A formal withdrawal of charges following his daddy post would itself be a significant and telling development. The second signal is whether any other Nigerian content creator in the weeks ahead tests similar boundaries with political commentary about the presidential family, and how quickly and severely any such case is handled compared to DJ Chicken's. A pattern of consistently rapid, serious institutional response specifically to content touching Seyi TINUBU versus more measured responses to comparable statements about other political figures would strengthen the case that this is about the specific family involved rather than the general seriousness of the underlying threat. The third signal is whether civil society organizations, press freedom advocates, or legal rights groups formally document and publish data comparing how Nigerian authorities handle threat-related content across different political targets. That kind of comparative documentation is precisely what would allow future analysis on this channel and elsewhere to move from reasonable speculation to demonstrated pattern. The fourth signal is simply what DJ Chicken does next with his platform. Whether he continues political commentary in a notably softened, cautious form, or whether he withdraws from political topics entirely going forward, will itself tell Nigerian content creators watching this case exactly what lesson they are meant to take from it. Here is where this story leaves us. A content creator made a reckless, explicit threat, has since retracted it and called it an attention-seeking joke, spent almost 2 weeks at Kirikiri Correctional Center, was released on bail, and within a single day had transformed his public identity into one of open, enthusiastic celebration of the very family whose member he had threatened. Whether that transformation reflects genuine relief, calculated self-protection, or some honest combination of both is something only DJ Chicken himself truly knows. What the rest of us can observe, clearly and without speculation, is what this entire sequence teaches every other Nigerian with a public platform about the specific cost of directing anger or criticism at the presidential family, and about exactly what is expected of you afterward if you want that cost to end. That lesson, whether intended or not, was delivered publicly, completely, and to an audience of millions, and it is worth every Nigerian sitting with, regardless of what they personally think about DJ Chicken, his original comment, or his daddy post. If this analysis helped you see beyond the surface of the daddy post, share it with someone who needs the fuller picture, not just the viral screenshot. Like this video, subscribe to the Policy Pulse HQ, and tell me in the comments, was DJ Chicken's arrest proportionate justice or a lesson in what happens when you criticize power in Nigeria? I will see you in the next one.